Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Let's not lose sight of the fact that this is a hobby and it's supposed to be done for fun. If you can make a few bucks on the side to help support your hobby, great, but this is not a business. There are so many fun aspects of this. Just the simple things, going to the bank and getting straps of singles. That, first and foremost, gets you out of the house. Going through all the singles keeps your mind sharp while you're trying to find certain combinations and things like that. And even if you don't find anything, it was still the thrill of the hunt. There's a lot of other fun aspects, like Where's George, where you never know when you're going to get that random email saying one of your notes has been found. So don't lose sight of the fact that this is supposed to be fun, not necessarily for profit. Now, yeah, if you can do this and show a profit, great. But ultimately, you're putting away stuff. It's a giant savings account. It's a bit of an investment. In the long run, if you sell everything, you'll probably end up coming out ahead. But don't forget to have a little bit of fun. All right, let's take a peek at what I found this week. Let me just get those out of the way. Starting off with Where's George? I found a Where's George note. This one looks like it got wet because it's a little bit smeared. That's okay. I will log it in as soon as I finish the video. Then I found another Where's George. Can't you tell? That's because they put it on the back. If you're going to do Where's George, put it on the front where people can see it. But I was able to spot this one, so I will log it as well. And I found yet a third Where's George, very similar stamp to what I've seen before, so I will attempt to log it. It might not let me, but I will try. And then a fourth Where's George. I know I've seen this one before as well. I will try to log it. You're only allowed to log, I think, 20 notes. It prevents two people in the same city from just constantly logging each other's notes back and forth. That's kind of what happened here. Those two notes, this one and the rectangle, I think that's a local person, so I tend to log a lot of those. All right, then some of the other fun stuff. I found an alternator. This is 60504040. No additional value. I just thought it was neat. Bunch of trinaries. We all know trinaries are worthless, but you've seen me pair trinaries. That's why I collect them, for fun, just to see if I can pair them. And what's the harm in me putting away, $5 or $6 every week? I mean, that's a great savings plan, isn't it? Anyway, here's 1s, 6s, and 8s. 3s, 4s, and 5s. 2s, 3s, and 8s. 1s, 2s, and 9s. A little bit of writing on it, so that'll probably go away. This one is 2s, 3s, and 6s. And some quads. Also no value on quads. And somebody asked me, are there value on 5 in a row? And to be honest, no. If you have 8 in a row, that's in the thousands. If you have 7 in a row, that's in the hundreds. If you have 6 in a row, that's in the tens. So what does that make 5 in a row for value? See, doesn't make sense. I say 4 in a row just like I do trinaries, just hoping to pair some, and I've done that. I have paired serial numbers. So that's quad 1s again, quad 7s, and some stars. 2017 star note, always check to see if they're filled. Another 2017 here, another 2017, and another. Stars are going away. I've always pulled stars. I have 1,000 of them. I don't expect them to be worth anything. Maybe the rarer notes might have a little bit of extra value, but anybody trying to convince you that just a ratty star note is going to be worth money, no, I doubt it. Here's a 2013 B star note, not in the duplicate range. The duplicate range starts off at 032 and goes to 096. Also the very low ones, 250,000 and lower, but this is not in the range. Another 2013 B star, and this is on the high end, so it's also not in the range, and it's written on. And some older notes, 2003, 2003. I save anything 20 years old and older. Next year, I'll start with 2006s. 1999, actually in pretty good shape. 88A, not a web note. 88A, not a web note. Another 88A, actually in better shape. And the cool find of the week, I found a binary 44441141, all ones and fours. And it was in pretty good shape, so I put this in a sleeve right away to keep it that way. There may be a little bit of extra value on binaries, somewhere probably $10 or so. These are pretty tough to come by, so I always get excited when I see those. So that's what I found this week. What did I pull out? Well, I have one of the originals. And what do I mean by that? This is a let's see what the series is before I misquote it. The act was signed in 1913, and this is the series of 1914. Both sides say that, right? Yep. This is a Federal Reserve note. Now, Federal Reserve notes, that's what these are. These are all Federal Reserve. In fact, if I was to just look at this one here, you can see it says Federal Reserve note. This was the first year that we had Federal Reserve notes. So this is the original Federal Reserve note series. This is 1914, and it happens to be a $5 note. These look very similar to the Federal Reserve bank notes, the FRBNs of the same time period. They aren't identical. The FRBNs have the president off to one side. But the Federal Reserve notes, like this, FRN, these are the very first version of the notes we have today. This particular one is the $5 denomination, featuring Lincoln, of course. And this one, as you can see, has the Federal Reserve, or the District 3C, that is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There were 12 different, just like there are today. You can see this has a blue seal. They've since changed that to a green seal. The blue seals generally would represent silver certificates. And oddly enough, the very first printed version of these had red seals, and red seals are legal tenders. So it took them till they did the small size notes to actually figure out they should have a different color seal. So that's where we get red seals being legal tenders, blue seals being silver certificates, and of course, green seals would be Federal Reserve notes. The red seals, there's about 10 times as many blue seals as there are red seals, so there's a pretty stiff premium on those red seals. But if you're looking to get one of the initial Federal Reserve notes with a blue seal, they are very affordable. Let's take a look at the back of this one. We have Columbus in sight of land, and what's on this side here? This is the landing of the Pilgrims on Plymouth Rock, and a very lengthy obligation printed on the back. That is this particular note. Now, they made a few different versions of this, so I'm going to bring out the big book, and we're going to take a look at that, and we'll discuss the different versions as well. Let's see. Federal Reserve note. Here we go. Federal Reserve, there's a picture of the red seal, and you can see it's just the same as the blue seal. But here are the different designations. Okay, you can see the A, B, C. I'm not going to discuss the red seals because the red seals are hard enough to find. So let's talk about the blue seals. Okay. On the blue seal, you have large letter and numeral at the top right and bottom left. What they're talking about is this. This is the large letter and numeral top right versus how small it is here. Okay. So if we look once again, the A is the large letter and numeral at the top right and bottom left. Top right is large, bottom left is small. You can see how small the bottom left is here. It's the same size here, same size here. So then B says large letter and numeral at the top right with a small district letters and numerals in the other three corners. Well, this one's large, and you can see small, 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 so this one is a B. And if we go a little further, also a large pair of letters and numerals, but positioned both vertically more towards the center of the note. Okay, so large here, and moved in. And you can see that this is small and this is large, so that's not it there. Actually, in the picture, you can see kind of clearly that's it there. So those are the three different types. This particular one was Philadelphia, and it was this one here, 855B. That's this one. And in a grade 8, it's 65. In a 12, it's 75. In a 20, you're talking $125. So even if you get one in rougher shape, it's still quite affordable. This particular one, it's a little rough on the bottom here with a little bit missing there, a little rough on the top, a little rough on the corners. So this one's probably going to be in that $60 to $75 range as far as value goes. But still a great example to add to your collection. Once again, we'll take a peek at the back just so you can see the whole thing like that. Anyway, that is the $5 Federal Reserve note from 1914. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.